Luxury has always been misunderstood. In contemporary culture, it is treated as something very external, like objects, brands, price points. But historically, luxury was never primarily about ownership. It was about experience, about time, refinement of perception, and also knowing how to inhabit a moment fully without rushing through it or dulling it with distraction. So what we are witnessing today is not a lack of beauty or opportunity, but a crisis of attention. Life is abundant with plentiful experiences, yet people feel empty and nothing lingers. Because nowadays, if you see, we can find pleasure everywhere. It is too accessible, yet satisfaction is so rare. This is where what we call the cognac effect begins. It's not a concept meant to impress, but as a corrective to a way of life and way of living actually that has become too fast, too shallow, and too noisy to feel rich. So, what this cognac effect actually is and what is not. We uncover the cognac effect, demonstrating how intentional appreciation transforms mundane moments into rich, layered experiences. From savoring a morning coffee with the same reverence as a rare vintage to finding profound beauty in a simple street scene, we reveal the art of cultivating depth and elegance in daily life. You may assume it refers to a lifestyle aesthetic, a form of slow living, or even a romanticized escape. No, it is none of these things. In fact, it doesn't ask you to drink cognac or any alcohol, no. To reduce your goals or to pretend that speed and success are morally wrong. It is not about rejecting the modern life. It is about correcting how modern life is metabolized. A fine cognac cannot be rushed without losing its meaning. If consumed just for the impact, it collapses into alcohol. What makes it valuable is not intensity, but the sequence. First the aroma, which prepares the senses, then the texture, which unfolds gradually, and then the warmth, which does not announce itself immediately. Finally, the aftertaste, which lingers and changes, sometimes minutes later. Its depth exists because time is allowed to do its work, so we can apply the same principle to the experience. Most people today move through moments without sequence. They jump directly to stimulation, then to replacement. There is no preparation, no integration, no residue, so experiences are swallowed whole without digestion. So the cognac effect is the deliberate decision to experience fewer moments but more meaningful moments. And don't get me wrong, it's not reduction for the sake of simplicity. It is concentration for the sake of meaning. When this shift happens, life does not become smaller, it becomes denser. I think you noticed that too, that many people, many of us struggle to explain why their lives feel strangely empty despite being so busy, socially active, and materially very comfortable in our lives. But the issue is not the lack of opportunity. It is the structure through which experience is actually processed. The first cause is continuous partial attention. We rarely give ourselves fully to one thing. Meals are eaten while watching something else, or even conversations happen while mentally we are preparing ourselves for the possible answers. Music we played while we are reading something or we are doing something else. So you see how pleasure is multitasked and it makes attention divided. Not because people are incapable of focus, no, but because they are afraid of stillness. The second cause is overexposure without any integration. Experiences arrive one after other without any pause. So there is no time for reflection, no silence in between to just sit back, relax, and a bit think about that experience. There is no way around for impressions to settle, just like when you eat food too quickly and it causes discomfort. The experiences absorbed without rest never transform into memory or meaning. They remain raw. The third cause is the confusion between stimulation and richness, where intensity is mistaken for depth and speed is mistaken for vitality or importance. People feel saturated, but they're not satisfied. They have seen everything, yet nothing stays. So this cognac effect reverses this flattening by restoring tempo. It does not remove stimulation, it gives it a shape. The first pillar, training attention. Attention is often treated as a personality trait, but in reality it is a trained capacity. Richness begins where attention stops scattering. So the most effective way to rebuild attention is not through grand discipline, but through a small daily decision. Once a day, choose one ordinary moment in advance and decide that it will be your task of the day. It will be your experience, and you're gonna experience it fully, not improve it, not optimize it, not doing anything extra, just simply inhabit it. And you can do that with super simple activities. This could be the act of drinking your morning coffee, walking from one place to another, preparing a simple meal, or sitting in silence for just 5 minutes. The moment itself is irrelevant. What matters is the commitment. Do not forget, during this moment, there is no phone, no background music, no parallel activity. And there is also no mental rehearsal of what comes next. Because the task is not to analyze, judge, or enhance. The task is so simple: to notice. Pay attention to temperature, rhythm, physical sensation, and mental resistance. You can easily notice how quickly your mind wants to escape, and that discomfort is not failure. It is withdrawal from distraction. Over time, this practice restrains the nervous system to remain with experience long enough for it to deepen. It teaches the brain that presence is safe. And this is the foundation of cognac effect. The second pillar, sensory literacy. This one is so interesting because most adults possess senses that they no longer know how to use precisely. Sensory literacy does not mean lack of sensation, but lack of vocabulary. People label experiences as nice or fine and they just move on. But you know that depth requires discrimination. The cognac effect depends on sensory specificity. When experiencing something simple, the question is not whether it is good or bad, but what exactly is present. Is the sensation warm? Is it cool? Is it soft? Is it sharp? Is it stable or is it just changing? Does it arrive immediately or it's just happening gradually? This applies not only to taste or sound, but to atmosphere, emotion, and even social interaction. Precision sharpens perception, and perception creates richness. So the more nuanced your perception becomes, the less you need novelty to feel alive. So over time, this way, sensory literacy restores pleasure without excess. So you begin to notice differences that others simply overlook. This is refinement without elitism. Ritual over routine. Routine is a mechanical repetition. Ritual is intentional repetition. The action may look identical from outside, but internally it creates a different psychological posture. To apply this, choose one daily habit and elevate it. Tea or coffee preparation, skincare, or evening wind down, even just a moment of morning silence, all of them work. And what transforms these routines into ritual is not decoration, but the attention you give to them. Movements become slower. You notice that the order becomes fixed and ritual anchors you in your life rather than pushing you through it. Ritual does not consume more time. It changes how time is inhabited. This is one of the quiet mechanisms through which luxury is felt without expense. Cognac improves not only through aging, but through rest. So the experiences are similar, and without reflection, moments remains flat. Reflection does not require journaling pages or emotional analysis. A simple structure is enough. At the end of the day, write just 3 lines for yourself. One moment that felt rich, why it mattered, and what it revealed about you. Why it is important? Because this practice teaches the mind to recognize value where it previously overlooked it. Over time, it changes what you notice during the day, because the mind anticipates meaning now. And reflection is where experience becomes memory. Gratitude is often reduced to forced positivity. In the Cognac effect, gratitude is recognition, not cheerfulness. We're not just happy. It is the act of acknowledging that something mattered. What would I miss if this disappeared tomorrow? This question removes abstraction and pretty much replaces it with clarity. And appreciation becomes so grounded. If you practice gratitude this way, you will realize it's a form of discernment. Let's debunk a myth. A refined life is not a smooth life, and we need to understand that complexity creates character. Just as a fine spirit carries bitterness and warmth together, a rich life includes tension, discomfort, and uncertainty. And the Cognac effect does not eliminate this friction. It teaches how to read it. Because when something feels imperfect, the question is not immediately how to fix it, but whether it's a flaw or texture. What does this add to experience? What does it reveal? Some things just need understanding. This shift alone reduces anxiety and increases depth. In practice, this means doing fewer tasks with much more attention. In social life, it means fewer conversations, which means deeper presence, listening without preparing replies, allowing silence to exist without feeling it. And in digital life, it means curated consumption, intentional pauses, and reflection after every exposure we have to the world. People who live this way change subtly. They become less rushed, less impressed, more grounded, and more selective. They no longer require constant stimulation to feel alive. So they experience luxury internally, which makes external luxury optional rather than compensatory. This creates a quiet authority, like a sense of self that does not need to announce itself. So what we had today was not about reducing or doing less, but it's about experiencing better. Choosing depth is a radical act. In a culture addicted to more, choosing richness is discipline. So today, choose one moment, stay with it, take your time, and enjoy it. If it sparks anything in you, you already know where this journey goes. And in the meantime, watch the next episode.